Hi, everybody. We are back again with Gail Becker, CEO of Caulipower. And if you haven't tried her pizzas yet, run as fast as you can to the grocery store and pick one up. I am never without Caulipower in my freezer. I shared that with you.
Thank you.
And you just actually gave me a tip, which I really want to tell the audience.
Please.
So we were discussing how important it is for the crust, the bottom, to be crispy.
If the crust is not crispy, it's not pizza. It can be something else, but it's not pizza.
Okay, but I was putting mine on a pan, and when I tasted yours, I was like, gosh, yours was better than mine was. And you told me, put it directly on the rack.
Put it right on the rack. Don't put it on a pan, no pizza stone, nothing, just right on the rack. Our goal was to make this as easy as possible. So why dirty another dish?
Why dirty a pan?
Just put it in the rack. Just put it on the rack.
You really care, Gail.
I do.
You really care. I love it. Okay, so I want to just talk about, you know, this show is all about how people reshape their life into the life they love or a life that they want. And you really reshape your career in a huge way, knowing your background and, you know, your corporate jobs that you've had and very demanding. And then you stepped out of that and started this company. What were you thinking?
I have no idea. There are literally times when I'm driving and there's no one else in the car, and I ask myself that very question, what was I thinking? But I knew I needed to make a change, and I'd always wanted to do something for myself. I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have this theory that I think a lot of women leave corporate America to start their own businesses because at its very core, they're just trying to build the type of work environments that they want to work in. And I love the places that I've had the chance to work. I still have many friends in all of them, but there was always something missing. And I think part of it was because my father was an entrepreneur, but it was just something I've always wanted to do. And I sort of thought, if I don't do it now, when am I ever going to do it? And it really was kind of a calling, and I wanted to try and make an impact and make the world a little better in some tiny little way. And I felt like I wasn't having that opportunity in the corporate world.
Well, was there any fear attached to that? I would imagine that there was, because you had really incredible jobs and you were very secure in your work. But to leave all that, I mean, what was your internal talk?
It was it was one of the scariest decisions I've ever made. But I think in some respects that's what has made it so rewarding.
Yeah.
I say that this journey is every emotion to the nth degree. It's more frightening, more scary, more expensive, more anxiety ridden, more wonderful, more fantastic, you know, more beautiful, but it's just everything times 10.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And I think that the scariest things we do in life are the only things that could possibly have that reward. I mean, there were many times when I looked down. As a matter of fact, I remember there was one specific day when I was, maybe I was 3 months, and I worked on this for a year before you launched. And there was one particular day, it was horrible, and I literally was at the fork in the road, and I said, well, I could sort of go this way. No one would really know that I, you know, had risked so much. It wouldn't be quite as expensive, and I could just make this decision. I could go back. And then, or there was the other path, and I literally called 3 people in my life, and I said, I don't know that I can do this. And they said, we think you can.
Oh my goodness.
And I realized, like, I needed to tell my kids, if you can't bet on yourself, who in this world is ever going to? So this is really about me just trying to live what I wanted my kids to understand and appreciate. And so I did. I just bet on myself. And more importantly, I really wanted to see this come to life. I really wanted people to share the same food and feel really good about it.
I want to record what you just said and listen to it daily in my car. Because that's something that we all need to hear.
Yeah.
You know, you did it, but you also had the support. Like you said, you called your friends.
Yes.
And, you know, you had like a sounding board.
Yeah.
And, you know, you knew what you wanted to do and you stepped into that anyway. And I just love it so much that you did it. I love it. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much. And I think it's really important that it's important for people to understand that I had no food experience.
Nothing?
Like none. Like I cooked.
Well,
I like to
yes,
cook.
right.
And that's it. And I bought it, and that was it. And I think, but I followed my passion, and I think where people and maybe even women sometimes look down is they think, oh, I don't have this experience and I don't have all of that. But it doesn't really matter. If you have a good idea and you have the passion to pursue it, you should
Do it.
Do it. I mean, do it. It's so worth it. Do it.
I feel like we should go march outside.
I'm ready. You have your sneakers on, so I can go. Yes.
I know. I mean, your plate is so full. It's so full. And I think it's been for a long time. And now your boys are a little bit older, but I'm sure it was really crazy at times, with your work and managing the family. And so I'm so curious do you have any daily practices that you do to kind of keep yourself balanced or give you a little bit more me time or give back to yourself? Or maybe it's even like the schedule that has worked for you to accomplish everything that you needed to accomplish in a day?
I wake up very early.
What time?
I usually wake up about 4 a.m.
You're the 4 a.m. club?
Yeah, somewhere between 4 and 5.
Okay, I love that.
On a good day, yeah.
Yep.
And I do my email while everyone's sleeping and it's quiet, and I am able to respond. And I don't expect anyone to respond back.
Right, of course, it's out the way.
It's just a quiet time for me to sort of think. And then I also I try and go to the gym. I don't make it every day, but at least try.
What time does that happen?
It used to happen in the morning. Now it happens after work or on the weekends. And I guess the only other thing I do is that I have a strict no phone at the dinner table policy that I abide by and I make my kids abide by. And because I just think that is the greatest time, right? That dinner time with your kids when you can learn about each other's day. And by the way, they give great business advice. My 14-year-old, I call my CMO. He's my chief motivation officer. All of the skill. If Caulipower is a success, it's definitely because of his counsel.
Wow.
But it's a really centering time, and I think because the dinner table is so important, it was probably somewhere in my thinking about wanting to protect that time for everybody, to just make that a special time and give us all more time. We don't have to spend 90 minutes making a pizza crust. There are better ways to spend that time.
Exactly. I love that you shared that. I have another friend that does that. I mean, my kids are little, they don't have phones yet.
Right.
But I even find myself doing that. And then I catch myself and I'm like, this is so, I can't believe, I beat myself up a little bit because now with the phones, it's like access all the time, and you don't even know when to detach. It's like all blurred.
And I always think like the kids are watching. They're watching. So I try and keep that time precious.
And the other thing women always say, you always hear everybody saying there's never enough time in the day. But I find like you, and I think most people that have high level jobs, it's that early wake up time that makes a big difference in their day. Because it gives you that, like you said, you do your emails first.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do like, a little meditation or reading,
right.
But still you said it. It's your quiet time.
It's my quiet time, right. Right.
To really be able to think.
Right.
And sort of get ahead of probably life, right?
Well, never ahead of life, but yes.
But a little bit, a little bit ahead of your day.
To just catch up. I think a little part of it too is this notion of doing what you love. Because I remember when I was in the corporate world, like Sunday night would come around, and I have to say I wasn't thrilled about getting up on Monday morning to, doing something that was great, but I didn't really love, wasn't passionate about. But now in this new life, I'm excited for Sunday night because thank God it's Monday. I mean,
I have so much to do.
I have so much to do. And it sounds crazy, I know, but it makes a big difference. You know, I can't wait to get up in the morning because I can't wait to see what we can accomplish, and our moment is now. So
I mean, how wonderful to be experiencing this in this season of life. You know,
it totally it is. You know, it's
a
never
gift.
it's never too late. It is
never too
never
late.
too late. I've had 6 different lives, 6 different careers. I've tried it all. If you would have told me 2.5 years ago that I'd be doing this, I'd say you're crazy. And yet it's so natural. And it feels so right. And sometimes, you know, you just have to listen to that little voice, even if no one else hears it. You just have to listen to it. You sort of owe it to yourself. And, you know, hopefully you can inspire someone else along the way.
well, next is a book.
Okay, you help me. As long as you help me.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really loved talking to you. And ever since I met you,
pleasure.
I was just so excited to be able to sit down with you one day and just hear your whole story.
quite
And I'm
mutual.
so excited to see what's
Thank
to
you.
come. And I just want to encourage everybody to please support this brand. Try this product. You're going to love it. It's really going to change. I mean, I feel like you said, it kind of changes the dynamic of our family time.
Right.
Because we're all eating the same thing together. It's wonderful. It's fun. Everybody's enjoying themselves. There's no
Exactly.
guilt. It's healthy. It's like it's just a feel-good
Yeah,
thing.
it's just a feel good.
So it's very, very exciting. So thank
you.
you. Thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.